Kong's revealed, and it's a real big moment. I want that moment in this movie. I want some doors to open up, but big fucking spiders there. So I was just like, all right, I'll give it a shot. So I went back to Warner Brothers and sat down with them, and they said, we heard from him, he liked you, we're going to hire you, you're going to move forward. Did he bring up the spider? I said, he did, he brought up the spider. Did he tell you guys about the spider? They're like, every day with the fucking spider. I said, what should I do? They're like, just do it, but try not to call it a spider. Can you call it something else? And I was just like, Thanagarian snare beast? And they were like, there, go. So I was ready to go start writing, and then I was told I had to write an outline first. And I was just like, what do you mean, an outline? They said, yeah, don't just write the script. You have to give us an overview of the story so we can approve the story so we can go write the script, and we need you to write an outline. I said, can I include dialogue? They said, yeah, go ahead. And then dialogue's about the only thing I know how to do. So I went home and wrote 80 pages, just an 80-page outline with tons of dialogue and very few kind of prose passages. And so I turned it in, and I was in Los Angeles all this time. I wanted to go back to Jersey. I turned in, I say, I'm finished. I'm going to go back to Jersey and let me know what you guys think, and you can reach me back home. And they said, well, first off, this is 80 pages. And I was like, yeah, that's the outline. They're like, an outline is like 4 pages max. And I was just like, well, I just overcompensating because I grew up fat. They said, second off, you can't leave. You got to stick around here and read John the outline. And I said, what do you mean, read John the outline? They said, yeah, he likes to have the outlines read to him by the writer. I said, what do I have, fucking tuck him in when I'm done, too? So I go back up to fucking Wayne Manor. I sit down with John, and John puts me in a chair, and he's got a couch in this huge fucking living room. He lays down on the couch. And he goes, and I said, what's with that? And he's like, I like to visualize the movie while it's being read to me. So I'm looking at it up here. He was building a little screen. In his mind's eye, this was a screen. So I was just like, all right, here we go. And I start reading. And since it's Superman, you tend to use the term Superman a lot. And I didn't want to keep doing that. It gets a little boring. So being a comic book fan, I changed it up. Called him Kal-El when he was on Krypton, Man of Tomorrow, Man of Steel, shit like that. So I'm reading the first few pages when he's on Krypton when he's a baby, because I have to redo the origin. And it's Kal-El this, Kal-El that, blah, 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 blah. He's like, wait a second. Who the fuck is Kal-El? And I was like, Kal-El is Superman. He's going, all right. Why? And I was like, that's his Kryptonian name. He goes, I'm like, Krypton's where he's from? He's like, right, fucking planet, boom. All right. Go. So I go back into it and shit, and I read it, and when I'm all done, he's like, all right, I think we got a movie here. He's going, the problem, though, you're missing some beats, some action beats. You need an action beat. Every 10 pages, something big has to happen. I said, well, what are you thinking about? He's like, well, it's just an example, like when you have a scene where Brainiac goes to the Fortress of Solitude, looking for Superman. Superman's dead at this point. Hope I didn't spoil the movie for anybody. So Brainiac's looking for him, the Fortress of Solitude, and something should happen there. There should be a big fucking fight. I'm like, but Superman's dead at this point. He's like, I know, but can't Brainiac fight something else up there? And I was like, well, like what? He's like, what about like Superman's guards as soldiers? And I'm like, why would Superman need guards? He's Superman. And plus it's called the Fortress of Solitude. Nobody's up there. And he said, well, Jesus Christ. He's going, what about, where is it? It's in the Antarctic? I said, yeah. He's like, what about polar bears? And I was like, polar bears? He said, yeah, have him fight some polar bears. Brainiac shows up, he's trying to get in the fortress. Polar bears come at him, and he just fucking kills one, and one runs away. Because we don't want to piss off the PETA people. And I said, you want me to write a scene where Brainiac is razzling polar bears? And he says, yeah, you know anything about polar bears? And I said, no, I don't. He's like, polar bears are the fiercest killers in the animal kingdom. And at this point, I'm just like, this dude has way too much access to the Discovery Channel. So I get done with my first draft, and I send it in, and they like it and whatnot. They start sending it off to people. They send it off to Nick Cage, Tim Burton. During this time, we have the premiere for Chasing Amy. And I invite John, because I know this dude doesn't know anything about my work. In fact, I don't think anybody at Warner Brothers knows much about my work beyond having read the script for Chasing Amy. Because I was always afraid somebody at Warner Brothers would be like, we gave our fucking multi-million-dollar franchise to the Clerks guy? Like, he's going to turn in a script with fucking Clark, jumping on Lois going, how many fucking dicks did you suck? So I figured it was fair to kind of invite the producer of the movie I was writing to see my new movie. So I said, we're having this premiere for Chasing Amy, you want to come? And he said, yeah. I showed up, and I talked to him the next day on the phone. I said, what'd you think? He was going, interesting flick, which in Hollywood means I didn't like it at all. He's going, you know what I really like, though? He's going, the black guy, the gay black guy. I like that a lot. I liked his voice. I said, yeah, Dwight, he's very funny. And he said, that's what we need in our movie. And I was like, you want Dwight to be in the movie? I know he'd fucking be happy to do it. He said, no, we just need that voice. We need that character, somebody like him in our movie. Can't Brainiac have a sidekick? And I was like, well, yeah, I guess. And he said, give him a little robot sidekick and give him that dude's voice. I said, really? You want the robot to sound like a gay black man? And he said, that's what this movie needs, is just a gay R2-D2. And at this point, the Star Wars movie was in re-release, and it opened up that previous weekend, made like $30 million and shit like that, and he had gone to see it again. So he was like, we need more shit like that in our movie. We need something that'll, like, we can make toys of and shit like that, like Chewie. We need Chewie in this movie. And I was like, you want me to just fucking write Chewie into the movie? Superman razzling Chewie? And he said, no, but just something like that. Like maybe Brainiac has a dog, and it's a little cute dog, and we can make a toy out of it. Because that's what it's about. We got to sell some toys off this movie. So that's what I need in this movie. I said, I don't really know if that's going to work. He said, don't tell me it's not going to work. I want my Chewie. And I was like, I got your fucking Chewie right here. But I don't say that because I like the job. So Tim Burton and Nick Cage sign on based on my draft. And I was kind of excited. I said, that's kind of neat. Fucking Tim Burton, Batman, and Nick Cage, fucking Nick Cage. But when Tim Burton got signed onto the project, Tim Burton signed a pay-or-play deal, which essentially means no matter what happens, Tim Burton gets paid whatever his directing fee was. I think at that point it was $10 million, $5 to $10 million. Tim Burton, once he signs the deal, turns around and says, I'm going to bring on my guys to write a script. And the Warner Brothers guys were like, well, what about the script we're developing? And he said, I don't want to use that. I want to do my own script. Presumably a version of Superman where he has scissors for hands. So they turn around, they tell me, like, Kevin, we're kind of done. Tim wants to go another way with a new writer. And I was like, all right. And I wasn't really that upset. I didn't feel, because I'd worked on it for 2 drafts, and I got to hang out with a really fucked up, kooky dude. A dude who I can tell stories about for the rest of my life. And, like, they paid me a lot of money to do it. Like, I would have done it for free, but I didn't tell them that. But they paid me a bunch of money to do it. And it was just fun. Like, I got to work on Superman. I got incredible access into the DC archives and shit like that. And people would give me free Superman shit all the time because I was working on it. And then I got shit canned off, and I started throwing Superman stuff away because who needs to be reminded? But I was really reminded the next summer when I went to the movies and saw a movie that John Peters had produced. And it was called The Wild Wild West. So I'm sitting in the theater watching the movie. I'm like, good Lord, this is a piece of shit. But then all of a sudden, like a giant fucking spider shows up.